This channel and its videos are intended for general audience. One day, Henry the Green Engine was heading to Knapford Station. The sun shone on his green paint, and he was excited to be taking a special train of passengers to Vickerstown Station. But as he rounded the bend, he saw his train leaving with James. "Wait, James, that's my train. Stop," Henry called. But it was no use. James was gone. Henry felt sad. Sir Tom Mac came up. "Henry, where are your coaches?" he asked. "James took my train, sir. Now what will I do?" replied Henry. Sir Tom Mac looked at his schedule. "Well, Henry, there's a goods train heading to the mainland. You can take that, and I will have a severe talk with James when he comes back. Goodbye," he said, and turned away to the sticky bun cart. Henry sulked to the yard, filled up on coal and water, and fetched his trunks. The tracks were all clear as he entered Vickerstown Station. He slowed to a stop at a signal and heard a familiar whistle. It was the Flying Scotsman. "Ah, that's the Mainland goods." "Yes, it is," replied Henry. Be careful. Remember about the diesels, warned Scotsman. The signal dropped and Henry set off to the bridge. The bridge was raised to let a ship pass through the channel. Then the warning bell sounded, and the bridge lowered, revealing a thick fog on the other side. The thump echoed round the channel. And Henry set off slowly across. Goodbye, Sodor. Hello, Mainland. As soon as his wheels touched the mainland rail, he immediately felt an unwelcoming tingle in his boiler, but he pressed on. The mainland wasn't like Sodor at all. The engines didn't respond or even acknowledge him. He pulled in the barren furnace to let a passenger train go through. Henry felt the rail shudder, and out of the fog a high-speed steam train rocketed by with an express passenger service. As the train screamed down the line, Henry was dazed. He had never seen a train that fast. A while later, Henry was clear to go, and he went on in a cloud of steam. A few miles of countryside and farms, he saw a yard in the distance. If they have shed and fueling facilities, we will rest here tonight, said his driver. As Henry entered the yard, he saw steam engines still hard at work. One spoke to him. Good afternoon, old chap. Welcome to the yard. May I ask who you are and where you're from? Said the tank engine. I'm Henry from Sodor. I'm taking this train to East Line Works. The little engine pondered. Oh, I know the place. It's just a few miles from here. Welcome to Collinford Yard. Henry was nervous, but puffed at a coal hopper. And what's your name? He recalled. I'm Beatty. The manager and I run this yard. We have a little platoon of engines we run around here. If you stay the night, you'll get to meet them. Henry was hesitant, but needed a rest anyway. All right, I guess I can stay for one night, he puffed. Later, Henry backed into the warm shed. There were many trucks on each side of him. This place must hold a lot of engines, he thought, and fell asleep. What? You! I suggest you move away from my line and find somewhere else. Are you one of those infiltrator steamers that seek us out until those oil-infused, growling diesels, and they will scrap us right by the spot? Henry tried to interrupt, but it only made things worse. Ah! So you are responsible for scrapping thousands of your kind, you traitor! And don't think those diesels will betray you too. A whistle broke up the bombardment. Oi! Don't be like that to our guest. Make him feel welcome. If he was an infiltrator, he wouldn't be in our sheds now, would he? And knock off the obscenities. This yard will not deal with that type of vulgarity, said the little shunter. The engine went to the back of the shed. Oh, I'm keeping an eye on you, traitor, he growled. Sorry, Henry. That's Patriot. He lost his brothers and one of his kind tried to ride us out to the scrapper. Due to the modernization, he now thinks any new engine is associated with diesels, said the little engine. Henry watched new friendly faces come to the sheds. He liked his new acquaintances, but this made him a bit homesick too. He wondered what his friends were doing on Sodor and looked up toward the stars. Henry, asked Beatty, can we hear about your friends on Sodor? And Henry stayed up most of the night telling stories about engines bricked up in tunnels, bootlaces and jammed whistles and safety valves. The new engines laughed and chatted all the night until they finally fell asleep. The next morning arrived. All right, Edwin. Back to the calling plat to help Oscar. Manston, you're on the express. Chinty, a special train is waiting for you at Barrow, and Patriot. The man paused as a new engine was in his place. Excuse me, who are you? He asked. Henry spoke up. I'm Henry, sir, from Sodor, and I was just settling down for the night. I'm on my way to East Lye Works. What's with that goods train over there? Sorry, I didn't mean to intrude. The manager smiled. No, Henry. You are welcome here any time. In fact, Eastleigh is a long way away, and you will be coming through here by dusk. Why don't you stay here for one more night? We like to make new friends, but watch out for diesels at Eastleigh. In fact, I will send Patriot with you. He knows the yards inside and out. Henry was disappointed. Come on then, Junior, growled Patriot. Later on, they were coupled to the goods train, and they both set off. As they sped along, Patriot called out, "When we get to the yard, just follow my tracks and lay low." Henry understood. The goods train ran through the English countryside as the sun was setting. It was dark as the train entered the yard. The sound of diesels hummed everywhere. "We need to go to the far side of the yard, where the shunters are. They are slow and can't catch us. We need to keep clear of them." In the distance, Henry saw very long diesels lined up and ready to strike like lions stalking their prey. They finally reached the far side, and they uncoupled from the train and dashed to the gates. "Run, Henry! They've seen us!" said Patriot. Henry puffed as fast as he could. "There they are! Let's get them and rip them to shreds!" called the diesels. That was close," said Henry. "I've had worse," said the Patriot. "I'm sorry about what happened. We engines on Sodor steam or diesel work in harmony. We've had a few bad eggs, but never this bad," said Henry. Patriot didn't reply, but was secretly starting to like his new friend. The other engines were pleased to see they were both back safe and sound. Henry was tired and rolled back into the sheds. As nightfall came closer, his new friends came too. They all chatted about the day's events, except Henry. "What's wrong, Henry?" asked Edwin. "What if this is the last time I ever see you all? We saw lines of diesels, and what if they show up here and replace you?" puffed Henry. Patriot spoke up. "Well, we are prepared to fight. We shall defend our yard, whatever the cost. maybe finding them on the main line, finding them in the shunting yard, and we shall even fight them on the scrap heap. We shall never surrender, he called, and the engines whistled together. And with a spark of patriot speech still ringing in their boilers, they all fell asleep. The next morning, Henry awoke early. He headed to refill with coal and water, but before the engines awoke, he saw Beatty shunting his train. "Morning, Henry. Your train isn't shunted yet, and today is the day you go home," said the little engine as he tried not to cry. He felt sorry for Beatty. "Yes, it is. I feel bad for leaving you all, but if you ever need sanctuary, come to Sodor. We welcome newcomers," puffed Henry. "Thanks for the offer, but I've got plenty of work here. Let's get back to it." A while later, Henry's train was shunted, and all the other engines awoke. Henry was facing them. "Thank you all for your hospitality. And Patriot, never judge a book by its cover. But I just want to say, you should all be proud of yourselves. You are all wonderful and unique group of engines. When I came to the mainland, I felt like an outsider, and I thank you for taking me in for the few nights and meeting all of you. You aren't just engines or machines, you are marvels, the marvels of the mainland." The engines cheered and whistled as Henry covered up to his train. Henry blew a long goodbye whistle and strained away. He thundered through barrow and furnace with pride and left the mainland with a new point of view as he rattled over the Vicarstown Bridge.